Hey guys, welcome back to the Forever World. Today we're going to be heading back to the starter town. Right behind the tavern here, there's been a massive empty space that I've been ignoring for way too long, and now it's time to finally fix that. In this episode, we're transforming that blank area into a proper harbor and market. A place that actually brings this town to life and brings us one step closer to completion. So let's roll up our sleeves and finally turn this blank space into the heart of the town. So I do have a rough idea of what I want to do over here, but it's a very rough idea. First thing we need to do is get rid of all these trees though. It feels really nice to be working in this area again after working on the Mediterranean village for so long. I kind of miss it, and let me tell you, I do have some really big plans for this area coming up here. There we go, much better. Lots of open space to work with. And like I mentioned, I want to turn this area into a little harbor. The reason we're turning it into a harbor and not a seaport or anything like that is because if you take an overhead look at this area, you'll notice that this is a lake. It has a few rivers winding off of it, but they don't connect up to the ocean. So in my mind, this lake would be used for fishing and supplying the village with food, but it's not a main port access. So we'll build up a little harbor with maybe some fishing boats and stuff, but I do want this area to be the main market for this village as well. So we'll build up a bunch of market stalls selling fish closer to the water and other stuff further away from the water closer to the tavern here, and we'll build it up in a way that this area looks like it has some life to it too. Now, first things first, let's get a little outline going with netherrack here. That way we know how to lay out our harbor here. Now, my thought is that I want to follow the water line here for the most part, so that looks somewhat natural. And then on this side here, over by the bridge, I want to have it going over land just by a little bit. That way I can do some gardens and whatnot on the side here to pretty it up a bit. We'll just go up to here for now. It's in line with the tavern. And then going out this way, we're going to change it up a little bit. So we're going to go inland by quite a bit here, and then we're going to start curving. And this way we can have kind of an upper and a lower dock area. The upper area will be more used for the market, and this lower area here will be used for kind of like a fishing dock and a little wharf. And don't worry, I'll make that curve look a lot nicer when I actually go to build things. This is just proof of concept right now. So that's the basic shape we're looking at right now. And once I clean up some of these uglier corners, I think I'll like it. You know what? Scratch that. I found a concept art on Pinterest that I actually really like. So it's this guy right here. And while I do really like the idea of following the shoreline for our harbor, I do think that this more square look is going to fit our town a lot better. And you know what? I think we can actually merge the two ideas, because on this side here, I can't really do the square all that well without blocking off a good portion of this river and making it look a lot more unnatural. So maybe on this side we follow the shoreline, and on that side we have more right angles. Yeah, I'm already feeling much better about this shape here. Alright, now that we've got a basic layout down packed, I think it's time to start talking about block palette. And I have an idea, and I'm really not looking forward to it. Well, I mean, I am, but I'm not looking forward to collecting anything for it, because it involves a lot of this stuff right here and this stuff right here. We kind of backed ourselves into a corner using path blocks and coarse dirt for our paths, so I think that using mud bricks like this and packed mud in between is going to be our best bet for merging a path into a dock here, and I think that this is going to give us the effect that we want, which of course means that we're going to need an absurd amount of mud and wheat in order to fill this area. I thought I was getting away from the mud, going away from Skyblock Kingdoms to the Forever World, but nope, here it is again. But the nice thing about a Forever World over Skyblock Kingdoms is I can just go destroy a mangrove swamp in order to get as much mud as I want. You know, I've had this wheat farm since episode 3, and this is actually the first time I've done a full harvest of it. I really haven't had any need to up until now, but let me tell you, it produces a lot of wheat, which is good, because we need a lot. I'm thinking the best way to lay down a foundation for our harbor here is going to be to get a stone layer down below where we want the mud. So if we want the mud at this layer, let's start filling in this layer here with stone. Cool, now that we got the area flattened, we can start building it out. I think I'm just gonna do this row by row to prevent waste because we only have so much wheat. We can always get more mud, but the wheat, it grows pretty slowly. So I think for now, we're just going to fill out most of this area, and the actual bricks are going to be in a random pattern just to kind of simulate deterioration, kind of like we do with our stone paths usually. But yeah, we'll fill this entire area in and go from there. Alright, cool, we got a flat area to build out our harbor and market, but it admittedly looks a little ugly when flying in right now. So I think the next order of business is getting rid of this netherrack and building up a little bit of a wall here. And I'm thinking I want to do it with cobblestone. Let's just hope that I have some down here. That's not a great sign. I don't think I had any back at the house. Yeah, a little bit, but not much. At some point here, I really do just need to collect a whole bunch of resources, but my storage room is a little bit of a problem for that, so that's gonna have to be a problem for another day. For now, it's to the mines. Alright, I got my cobblestone, so basically what I'm going to do is just go with a straight line across like this, and we're going to do that for the entire perimeter of the dock, or the harbor, or the port, or whatever we want to call it. I keep using the wrong words, so I'm just going to roll with it. So we do it for the entire perimeter of the dock, port, harbor thingy, and now we've got something that looks kind of like this. So we do have to rip out the little bits of land that are left outside here. We'll worry about seascaping later. And we need to carry the cobblestone down to below water level as well. And now I want to build up some basic rock piles in front of the wall here, just to make things feel a little bit more natural. Or at least that's the hope. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I also took some time to redo this corner back here. I wasn't super fond of it, so I did make it into a quarter circle in the end. But yeah, I think we have our basic harbor shape here. I'm just going to continue the path out to this point right here, and I'm going to kind of lightly blend it with the harbor. This way we still have a few green spaces on either side to do some trees and whatnot when we go around and do that. Now that we have the basic design of our harbor down packed, I want to start working on a little wharf off the end here, centered around there. And I don't want this to be anything too big, so maybe we do a 7-wide wharf, and we'll bring it out to about here. We'll throw a few center supports in too. Perfect, now let's run out our planks. And I'm not positive this is the right move, but I think stripping this will look good too. Let's just try it on a few. I'm not sold, to be honest. I also want to try it with dark oak. Alright, those are my 4 options. Dark oak, spruce stripped, spruce regular, or dark oak stripped. And you know what? I'm kind of feeling stripped dark oak. So let's swap it all out. It's basic for now, but I like basic. One thing I do still want to do though is off the back here, I want to do a little staircase coming down here, kind of like so, and do another little dock off like this, and then connect it up like we did the other one. This way we have an area that we can actually sail into with a boat and get off onto the dock. Now that we got all our basics down for both the wharf and the harbor, I think it's time to actually start putting things on here. And I made way more spruce slabs than I needed, so let's use these to outline things. Alright, so imagining things coming through this arch here, we're going to come through on this path here, and this is going to be our main entry to our market and harbor. And I want a combination of buildings and stalls on here. So I'm going to start by outlining a few buildings here, and then after that we'll take care of the stalls. Alright, cool. I think this will be a good outline for a few buildings, and I want to use the same materials as I used on the tavern here. That way everything kind of blends together nicely. So deep slate ceiling, sandstone walls, what is that, spruce wood for beams, and then various stones throughout as well. Unfortunately, I think I know what our struggle here is going to be. Oh, you know what? I've got a good amount of sandstone here. I just gotta smelt it down. Oh, and I've got even more sand. Okay, I'm covered. Let's start building here. We're going to start with the base, and then let's go up, say, 7. I actually want to bring this up a little bit higher. Let's do 9. Strip it all the way down, and then let's do a lip around the edge, kind of like so. And then I want to break up what will eventually be sandstone here. And then we'll do this again, but upside down. And then I think we'll go up another 9. All right, we're looking pretty good in terms of height there, so I think... Oh, hi. I think we'll do another upside down ring of stairs around the top there, and then do a triangle roof on that. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Now we just got to build up the sandstone walls. There we go. One building complete. It's a little bit clunky, but I'll either learn to like it or I'll find a solution while I'm doing the rest of them. So I guess it's time to get to work. Alrighty, things are starting to shape up over here. They may just be empty buildings, but it's a huge step forward. We'll take care of filling all these buildings up later, but right now I want to lay out the market stalls. I'm thinking we have one come off the side of this building right here. Then we do the same here with a small one. Let's do a big one right here. Another one here. Let's have a couple along the shoreline here. Then over here we have lots of space. I want to experiment with a diagonal one. And let's do another diagonal one right across from it. We're probably going to have to extend the harbor a little bit here, but that's fine. Because if we do something like this and then have a little bit of a town square almost in here, I think that'll look pretty cool. And then I think we'll do something else with this area. But for now, we got quite a few market stalls planned out. I think we'll start with that. Now, in order to make the market stalls, we're going to want a couple different colors of wool. And the only sheep that I have are in here with a bunch of cows that jumped in with them. We'll call them dairy sheep for now. But our non-dairy sheep aren't too happy. There's no grass in here for them to eat, and there's only 2 of them. And I don't really want to mix them with the other dairy sheep out here. So I think we're going to go up on the hill over here beside the pumpkin patch. Extend the land a little bit and make a sheep pen. Maybe even a little house for a shepherd or something. So let's clear out the area real quick. Alrighty, now that we got no trees over here, we can bring in the dirt and the stone. I'm thinking we make the area mostly flat. It is going to be a farm after all. That just makes everything a lot easier. There we go, we got a nice flat space to work with now, which means that we can bring in the cobblestone and start outlining our pen. It doesn't have to be as big as the cow one because it's not as important, but we still want it to be a decent size. We need a good amount of sheep. Yeah, something like this should work, and then we can throw a fence gate in right here. Now we just gotta decorate it up in a way that the sheep can't escape. There we go, now we got something to work with here. We can work on prettying up the path a bit later, but for now I need to get my non-dairy cows into the pen. Wait, where's the second one? Oh, he's being crunched into the corner here. We'll just leave that gate open so that they can all funnel out, and you two come with me. I almost tried using wheat to lure them over here, but then I remembered all of the cows. That would not have ended well. Anyways, here we go. And boop, and boop, and boop, and boop, and baby. Now, we're gonna need a lot more than 3 sheep, and the babies don't exactly work for wool, so I think I know where I can get a few extras. What I've been doing for a while to get wool is just coming over here, because there's tons of sheep, but they're pretty spread out. So not exactly ideal, but I think that 17 episodes is long enough to deal with it. This madness must end. I just need to find one more. And I know that there's at least 8 sheep in the area, not including that guy. Aha! Yoink! Now to get these guys all home. Let me tell you something. These guys are not as smart as they look, which is saying something, because they don't look that smart to begin with. The fight that I had to get them over that mountain was unbelievable, but it's okay because we're here now. It's gonna take me a little while to breed up all these sheep and get enough wool for the project, so let's do a little jump cut here. Alright, it's been a little while here. Got a lot of sheep, and I'm thinking I've probably got enough wool too. Yeah, 3.5 stacks should do it. Alright, how many stalls do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I'm thinking maybe we do 5 different colors, have a few duplicates, because we want something that the wool color is close to some sort of slab. Alright, so I spent a few minutes playing around with color palettes, and I figured that red and mangrove, cyan and warped, yellow and bamboo, and orange and red sandstone are our best bets. And I couldn't find a good fifth, so I just went with a plain lime. So let's put together our dyes and materials. That way we can start making our market stalls. You know, they're not all that big, but market stalls take longer than you'd think to make. But I think they turned out pretty good. Now, of course, right now they are all kind of empty. That's the next task. And we're just going to pretend this area here doesn't exist because, I don't know what to do with it. But yeah, I've gone and put together a bunch of resources that I think will help us decorate this place nicely. And I think by assigning each of these stalls a purpose, it'll help us decorate. So let's assign vendors. This guy's going to sell fish, and this guy fishing gear. These two will be farming and produce. Then we can have a butcher. Then this one can be something else to do with food. Then we move over to these four. Let's have weapons, armor, a tailor, and tools. And then we have a few bigger areas, this shop and that shop over there. Let's make this one a blacksmith. And since this one has a bit more space, let's make this the general store. All right, we have a little bit of a plan put together. I'll admit these finer details aren't exactly my area of expertise, but I'm going to try my best. It took a lot longer than I expected, but I'm actually quite happy with how this turned out. I managed to stock all of the stands here. Both of the stores have stuff in them too, and they look pretty cool, honestly. Made this cool little wagon here. And just having piles of barrels and different things around, it really does bring the area to life, I think. And I particularly like this area over here. I think it looks really cool. But this lantern right here in the center is there for a reason. I think it would be nice to have a small fountain in the center here. So let's just make a basic circle here. Then we go up the center here a bit, get some little bits like this going here, and then go up a tad higher and plop down our water and hope it does what I want it to. Yep, that's gonna look good once I actually drop the ground a little bit. Alrighty, take two. Perfect. Then if we just toss down a few lanterns here, nice and simple. I might switch out some of the stone brick, but I'm happy with how it looks. Alrighty, we've been making some good progress. Just two things left on the agenda for today. We gotta blend this a little bit nicer. This is very ugly and very incomplete. And we gotta do something with this area right here. But I think I have an idea for both. We just gotta grab some cobblestone from the dumping ground over here. Our storage really has gotten out of hand. We gotta take care of this soon. But anyways, if we look at the shoreline, you can see it curves this way here. I'd like to do an inverse quarter circle over here. Not too sure on the size yet, but the idea is if we do that, we can blend it seamlessly back into the landscape. Granted, we'll have a lot more dock to deal with then, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. Alright, let's try this out. Okay, yeah, that already looks so much better. We'll fill this area up with something eventually, but for now, let's focus on this part of the dock here. I think we're just going to build a simple storehouse here. Just somewhere simple that people from the town can store stuff. Maybe some logs from the lumber mill are being dragged over here to build up this area, who knows? But I think this will work. So something around that size, maybe. The thing that I'm undecided on is if I want it to run this way, or if I want it to run this way. Alright, looking at it from on top of the lumber mill, I'm thinking it's better this way. Let's just get another perspective to make sure. Yeah, I feel like if it runs this way, it's a little too cramped going in this way. So I think if we do 1, 2, maybe 3 sections this way, that'll be good. Oh, Minecraft rain gods, why do you hate me? Why does it always have to start raining in the middle of a clip? Oh well, you know what? Jump to time lapse, then I can get rid of the rain. There we go, we got a storehouse. That area is looking fantastic now. I don't really know what to put in here, so I'm just gonna do a couple bundles of logs, I think. And then maybe we'll just do a big pile of barrels in the corner over here. Throw a couple lanterns around for some lights. Maybe hang a couple as well. And there we go. I decided to change the lengths of some of the logs just to make it look a little bit better. I think it adds some extra character and dimension. Well guys, we've had quite the transformation today. This area is probably one of the most lively spots on my entire world at this point. The amount of detail that we put in over here, it's just really not represented anywhere else in the world, and we gotta change that going forward. We do have to start throwing more details and stuff in. It's nice having the big builds, but it's the small details that really make things feel lived in. And I think we knocked it out of the park here. But yeah, I do think that's all I have time for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Next time we really have to take care of our storage system. It is very outdated, it's tiny, it's cramped, it's gotta go. So I'll see you in the next video, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe before you leave today. Anyways, have a good one. Bye-bye.